Yo, what's up, gang? Welcome back to THATFIT podcast, episode number 1 of 2022. I'm excited to be back, sharing, value with you guys, sharing people's stories and how they overcome challenges. So today's a little bit different. Something a little different today. So I got my main man here. He's going to be diving into sort of my story. Obviously, I haven't delved too much into that. I've obviously been focusing on other people and trying to bring the value that they have to THATFIT. So today's going to be a little bit different. So I'll hand it over to you, my guy.
Let's go. I'm about to take over.
I was just thinking, actually, you could probably have your own show on THATFIT platform. So probably be something that you could think about.
Hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves, guys. No, welcome. As he said, I thought it would be a good idea because, Ethan's always interviewing other people and, diving into their stories. But, what I realized with the platform is it's great and it's a great podcast. But, I feel like you guys need to also
know the person behind it.
Yeah, know the person and what Ethan's been through to actually get here and get to this place where we're putting out this content. So, I think it's a pretty good idea. So, look, let's start from the beginning, bro. I want to ask you, way back, tell us where you're from. Tell us, what your hometown is like. Who did you live with growing up? Just paint a little bit of a picture for us.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Dunedin, a very small town in the North Island, New Zealand, and I was a country boy. I grew up on the farm, playing around on the farm, horses, dogs, and everything. So that was, I was a country boy, man, but I was so obsessed with sports and stuff like that, which I'm sure we'll touch on. But Dunedin is such an amazing town, and I'm so proud to be from such a small town like that. As people that do amazing things, they always think about where they come from, and it's literally the smallest town, the most kind-hearted people that, you miss it in a certain way, but it's always with you. So, I was obviously just a young fella growing up around my brothers and sisters, spending time around my grandfather.
So who was in your household?
Well, early on, it was just me and my sister. I had older brother and older sister, which they were at high school and stuff like that. So they were away at boarding school.
Age gap?
10 years.
Fuck. Jesus.
10 years. That was me and my sister spent most of our time together. But from what I remember most from childhood is that it was pretty much me, mum and dad. My sister moved out of home, out to the farmhouse with my grandfather very early because she was obviously obsessed with being on the farm. And I spent most of my time, I guess not alone because I had friends, but it's kind of weird because I enjoy my own company from such an early age. I like to spend time with myself that nothing has really changed, but I just obviously had friends and stuff, but I was just so obsessed with sports that I really didn't care if I had too many friends.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it seems like, that's what makes this so great, to look at where we are now and to look at what we're doing with the platform and what we're doing just in general with life, to know that you've come from, and guys, the Danny Verk,
so small. It's got the smallest KFC in the world.
Literally, that's about it. There's KFC and a McDonald's there, and that's like the landmark.
That's it.
That's about it. But so going off that, in school, what were you like in school? What kind of student were you? What kind of kid were you? What kind of sports and things did you play? And what subjects? What subjects were you good at?
Yeah, so I was a good kid. Like most kids, if you're adventurous, you get yourself in trouble every now and then. And
you're actually pretty quiet, weren't you?
Yeah, 100%. I was so shy as a kid, and it's incredible how shy I was. But I turned to sports because I was so confident at sports and so energetic in that space where I played every single sport. So that's where my confidence developed from. But in terms of speaking and stuff like that, I was so shy. I remember going to shops and going down to the fish and chip shop, and I'd hide behind my mum and get her to order food for me, which now it seems the complete opposite. But yeah, I was a good kid, man, and I just played every sport under the sun. That's all I remember. I was just so obsessed with sports and being good at it.
Yep.
Because the thing was, any sport that I did play, I was really good at it. So that's where the beginning of.
Did you feel like that was
stuff.
like your way out? You know, like
it was. That's how I saw it. I was just like, because my favourite All Black, because obviously New Zealand's known for its rugby, that I just looked up to Dan Carter, and he was the first person that sort of gave me that perspective of like, man, you can make a career from this, you can make a lot of money, you get to inspire people to be better, and he was the first person. And
he was a bit of a trend.
It was him, David Beckham and LeBron James that really painted a picture for what's possible. And I remember seeing Nike ads, and all they talk about is like do the impossible and stuff. Right, so as a kid, I was just like, that's amazing. And then I went on YouTube and watched highlights of Dan Carter, LeBron James, David Beckham, and all the crazy things that they could do, and that really set the fire for who I wanted to become anyway. So, no, I was a good kid, man. I played every single sport under the sun.
Kind of subjects were you like? What were you like? Math and English and
terrible,
stuff?
Man. I hated that shit. I actually hated that stuff.
Did you do anything like extracurricular, like music or like anything else?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't, man. I literally after school was training. And yeah, I was blessed with such a great mum that she literally followed me everywhere, took me everywhere, had food for me, for training and stuff, watching me. She'd just sit there and watch me, man. And this is also the main reason, is that in some way give back to her and dad, because they sacrificed so much to travel around the country, watching me play sport, have everything provided for me. So, that's sort of how it came about.
That's really, really cool, man. That's really cool. So going on to high school, obviously I'm guessing you continued that sort of notion throughout the, primary school, intermediate and high school.
Yeah.
Explain to us what happened for you after high school. What was that like? What did you do?
Well, I went to boarding school at Napier Boys, and that was a real eye-opener. And now that I think back on it, those 5 years at boarding school were actually some of the best years of my life.
That's cool.
Living with the boys 24/7,
still
and the
know
stuff
them to this day
that we got up to, just remind you, man, that life is about having fun. And I've never had so much fun in 5 years. Obviously, we got ourselves into a little bit of trouble and stuff like that with getting kicked out of boarding school, but
what happened there?
We got caught smoking weed in the hostel, and we got kicked out for a year. So that's what I mean. I mean, you're so adventurous at that age that you're curious about those sort of things. So
how old are you then?
14, 15.
Yeah, that's the
second form.
Yeah,
14, 15. So yeah, man, and that's the thing. I was never a bad kid. I always turned up to class, never missed class and stuff like that. But I was really there to play sport because that was my thing. And they had such a great platform there at Napier Boys as well that I'm grateful that I was able to go to that school. Obviously, it cost a lot of money to send your kids away to boarding school again. Mum and dad made that sacrifices of making sure that they worked hard so they could afford to send me away to school. And at times, obviously, with getting kicked out, you sort of feel like you let them down a bit. But I was never a bad kid. I was so nice. I was polite, and yeah.
You seem like you got a really good relationship, still to this day with your parents, which is, really, really good. But so what actually happened after boarding school? Obviously, what was that transition like? Because I know obviously you got into rugby.
Yeah, so it was between cricket and rugby. So that were my two main sports, and that was the toughest decision. To be honest, I wasn't thinking about a career when I was out of school. I was just thinking about rugby. I'm going to make it in rugby because that's the sport that I chose. And going out at high school, I went into the Hawke's Bay Rugby Academy.
So did you move from Dannyburg to Hawke's Bay?
So I stayed in Hawke's Bay. I ended up living with my brother in Hastings. So when I decided I was going to be with the Hawke's Bay Rugby Academy, I stayed with him, which was super interesting. It was cool to be around him and how he went about his sort of thing, because at the time he was playing Hawke's Bay Rugby as well. So I really looked up to him when I was young, and to follow that he paved the way for the footsteps that I wanted to follow in. And so I was with the Hawke's Bay Rugby Academy, and bro, I didn't want a job, Like, I want a job just to work, but I didn't want a job. I was like, rugby's going to thing, and I was just so focused on that. So I didn't really dabble. I think I went to, like, EIT for, like, electrical to do something, but because Dad was sort of, past time, bro, and he was just like, oh, get a trade or something. But growing up, I was like, nah, I don't really want to trade because most of my uncles, my brother and stuff like that, they're all in trades, and I was just like, nah, that's just not for me. And I was too scared at the thing because I was watching a lot of YouTube. I saw these like brands that they're creating, LeBron James and stuff like that. They were creating brands for themselves, and that's when I started to get the notion of creating a brand for yourself. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to do that. So I just was willy-nilly, bro. I was just like, I'll just do this course just to like you said, pass time. And
it was more, did you get hit with that, like, you need to have something to fall back on? You know,
it was, bro. And you get taught that a lot. And now that you think about it, it's like, yeah, that's so true, but it wasn't something that I was passionate about. And obviously not till recently, it's just like, man, you got to really be passionate about something.
Yeah, I feel like that concept is like, it's only if you want to give up, I guess. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like you have that mentality where, you know, even if you did fail at rugby, you know, like, you wouldn't really give up on that notion of that dream. You know what I mean? But so what made you, or how did you get to Oz? So how did that come about?
Yeah, so it was super interesting, bro. A guy messaged me on Facebook just out of the blue, and I'd been playing rugby, and this was when I sort of needed change because I was just working. I can't remember what even job. I was just doing like roofing and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was just playing rugby. That was my main focus. And a guy just randomly messaged me on Facebook, and his name was Justin Recruitment Rugby. Yeah. And he said, hey, mate, how's it going? Like, have you ever thought about playing rugby overseas? So I like clicked on his profile and was like looking through, and he had recruited these rugby players from New Zealand to Australia to play like club rugby and stuff like that. You can get paid and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, fuck, this is cool. And it kind of makes sense, right? And the universe puts these things in front of you. I remember I started because I watched a lot of Australian cricket. For some reason, they just did things better. It was more exciting. I was just like, it would be really cool. And the lifestyle seemed really amazing, like the beaches and stuff. I was like, man, I could really see myself living over there. Before? Yeah, so I came to the Gold Coast a few times, which I was young, but I didn't really know about Gold Coast and the way it is now. So that was things. So we got talking. He's like, hey, we're keen to have you over here. And that was in Sydney. And we just got talking, and then it just seemed kind of weird, but too good to be true. And he's like, mate, we'll fly you over. And we'll have a job and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, okay, like, this guy's kind of seemed serious, but there was no, like, contracts or anything like that. That was super, made it seem super serious and stuff like that. But I was just like, coming to that point where I was like, I need a change just to give me a better perspective and see what it's actually like. And so one day I was just, mum and dad were just unsure as well. They're like, who is this guy? What is this? And stuff like that.
Some random guy messages you on Facebook.
Yeah. And so I literally caught a flight. I remember.
Well, I guess if he's paying for your flights, like, then
100%.
It's pretty legit, I guess.
And I remember I was on the plane and I was just like, man, this is so weird. But I got there and I messaged him. He's like, I'll pick you up at the airport. And I was like, yeah, sweet.
So he's in Australia.
He's in Australia, yeah. All right. He actually played for the club as well. And I got there and I was messaging him and I was like, I'm here. Like, bro, I still at that point, I was just like, maybe I fucked up. Like, I was just taking an absolute scam. But he came and introduced himself. We went back and ended up meeting a couple other Kiwi boys that had moved over as well. And we ended up staying together with the head coach at the time. And it was hard to, like, sort of find my feet there. But I was just like, the main reason I was there was to hopefully make it somewhere in rugby. And the lifestyle was amazing, and I was just like, you know, this is pretty cool.
It would have
just
been
playing rugby and stuff like that, and
it
was, bro. But it was something that I felt when I got around the places and understood Sydney a little bit. I was just like, yeah, this is what I thought about when I pictured like moving to Australia and stuff. And I was like, you know, I could really get comfortable here. So that was the change, and that's how I sort of moved to Aussie.
And so did you end up, like, obviously playing rugby and things
Yeah,
like
so
that?
I had a season there, and they were struggling at the time. The club they just didn't have a super amount of structure or systems to really create a really good team there. And
what was the club called?
Gordon Rugby Club in Chatswood in Sydney there.
Yep.
And amazing dudes, man. Shout out to those guys. They're super cool dudes down there, and they were just sort of going through a hard time. They had a lot of changes with head coaching and stuff there that sort of messed things up a little bit. But now, bro, they got really good coaching staff, and the players there are amazing. So I think they won it last year or the year before. So I kind of left at the wrong time, I guess. But as everything, like, it's perfect timing to how I originally moved up.
What made you leave?
So we're up playing a sevens tournament in Byron here, and I had a crazy injury with my clavicle, just smashing at both ends. So it was an attack. Our guy sort of bear hugged me, and like he flipped me over, and just straight away I heard my shoulder, and I was like, fuck. And I played the rest of the half, and I was just like, fuck, I'm not right. So went and saw a doctor, and they're like, just get this guy to the hospital. His shoulder's fucked. And I remember sitting in the hospital, and they were just standing there doing tests and that. And at the time, I was only like working like part-time and stuff like that. So I was just like, fuck, I'm going to be off work and stuff like that. And for the rest of that weekend, we're up in Byron, so it was just mad party. I was just drinking. They had given me painkillers. So I was on the moon all weekend and went back to Sydney, bro. And that's when everything started to
come back to reality
and understand, like, well, what's the next move? Like, I can't work for a certain amount of period of time. And I had thoughts of moving back to New Zealand.
So what's your mind frame at that point? Like, so you know, the weekend's gone, you get back to Sydney, you say maybe you get back to your house and you're sitting in your room and you're going, what's going through your head at that point?
Is this it? Like, is this it with my time in Australia, and is this it with rugby? And I remember getting back to Sydney and just going to the physio and doctors so many times, back and forth. And it was just draining me, bro, because my whole life was based on making it in rugby. And they always say, yeah, something to fall back on, but it wasn't. It was like, I have no plan B. This is it. So that's when everything was like, okay, there's got to be something more to life, because we'd spoken about it, and like rugby academy, like, you got to have something to fall back on. You never know when it's going to end. And I was too ignorant to be like, nah, it doesn't matter, man. I'm going to make it. And
you don't account for these sorts of
that's
things.
That's the first time I had to understand, like, a bit of self-awareness is like, where are you at right now? I was probably working like 2-3 days a week with my like shoulder and stuff like that. So that wasn't, I was losing income and stuff through that.
Yeah.
But I was really weirdly excited at the same time. Like, well, if this is over, like, what does the next few chapters look like, and what could they look like? And that's when I was just like,
that's so interesting.
Maybe a move is on the thing, because I didn't really have that many friends. Like, I knew guys, but I didn't really have that many friends. And Josh and Leon were up on the Gold Coast, and I remember the Gold Coast when I was young, I was like, that's such an amazing place. And I was like, how about I get myself to a place where I can feel comfortable, it's not as busy as Sydney, and work from there. So that's sort of how that worked.
Like, at I guess your lowest point in life, instead of, like, because I know, you know, a lot of people would normally just go, fuck, like, my life's over, like, what do I do? And then they sort of, you know, lock themselves in their room for a few weeks. So your mindset naturally almost was like, okay, well, what's next? What can I do to make it better? And you sort of figured it out from there. That's that's really, really cool, man. That's amazing. So then you obviously moved up to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Explain to us what happened when you got up here.
It was amazing, bro. It felt like home.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm really home. So because we had arranged a place in Broadbeach, and Josh and Leon were living down in Kira, down in Coolangatta, and Jesse was moving over as well.
Yeah.
And it's like the boys were finally coming back together in a more amazing place, I guess. And we got up here, and to be honest, like I got up here on New Year's and we just partied, man. Yeah. We partied for like a month or so, and it was amazing. I was like, this is so cool. This is where I'm meant to be. In the back of my mind, I was just like, you know, you got to figure everything out. But for now, like you've gone through this injury. You've had 6 months of just trying to get your shoulder right. Just enjoy life, man. Enjoy life for a little bit. So just partied, and it's an amazing place to party and have a good time. So that's how that sort of went. And yeah, like I said, it felt like home. This is a place where I feel like I could spend a lot of time, and the active lifestyle really suited me. So that was something that was next on my mind, is where am I going to head next?
So at this point, you've accepted that you're not playing rugby anymore. Is
that
right?
Yeah.
So what transitioned you into going down to find your niche of, say, fitness and health? Like, how did that come about?
So as a young kid, I understood what health was really about. So I played a lot of sports, and your influence as a kid highly by the things you see around you. And I was seeing these athletes do amazing things, right? So I watched a lot of YouTube. I was like, what are they eating? How are they training? And I was just like, I knew from a young age that eating, training, like that's part of living healthy. And they were doing amazing things. And it's like, you can't do these amazing things unless you're healthy. Yeah. So I understood from a very young age that that's how it was. And that's never changed.
That's crazy. Because like, I mean, I used to, I'd watch like wrestling or like, sports and stuff.
But
like
you
that.
weren't thinking about that, right?
I was never diving
See,
into
that's the funny thing is I was thinking about, I was like, what are they eating? Like, what are they eating? I remember watching this video of LeBron James, and it was a day with him, all access, and he'd go to the gym before playing, and he'd do like his pre-game meal and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was so curious about that side of things, and that's basically how I was sort of going back to that kid that you wanted to be as a kid.
Yeah.
So that was mainly the thing, and I just doubled down on that. So I just more nutrition training, and then of recent fashion, because it was something that I was really curious about. So I'll tell a little story about me and my brother. We played on weekends, right? I played for Havelock, in Premier, and every weekend for like one of the years was we'd dress a certain way. And turn up to the game and stuff like that. So that had my mind thinking, like just the weirdest combinations, like jeans and boots, or like
that's
like trying to style
right?
things.
Yeah.
So like just trying to try these different, I guess, trends, the way things look, the sunglasses, what you're wearing.
So do you think a lot of like maybe that fashion side maybe came a little bit from your brother?
Yeah, 100%. I was talking to Mum about it, and because I wore a lot of uniforms when I played sport.
Yeah.
So it was weird. My favorite color was sky blue when I was younger. Okay. And Napier boys were sky blue. Yeah. So I liked the way things looked. I liked the way things looked and the way they suit people. And I remember playing hockey when I was young, and my mum and my auntie Becky used to design the uniforms. Yeah. So I just watched them, and they'd flick through pages looking at these different concepts of way things look. So that's watching that ingrained in my mind, which is, I think about it like about my style. It's very effortless, and I like the way that things like making effort look easy. Yeah. So for fashion, that's what my mindset is with that. But like you said, it was, I got it from my brother, and that's the thing, you're influenced by the people around you and your environment. And I was around that environment of dressing nice, training hard, and watching these people on the world stage doing these amazing things with obviously the drive that, no matter what it takes. Like, I think it's this combination of all these things coming back together that really makes sense to me.
Yeah. And so then once you sort of found out that that's obviously what you wanted to do, you went through and started studying personal training for a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just to get your knowledge up.
So I wanted to, like we said, it was all these combinations of things. I was like going through being a personal trainer, fashion, but it was too much that I couldn't really focus on one.
Yeah. Okay,
so I sort of took it away from those two things was like, from a bigger picture, how do you incorporate these all in a certain way to help people become better as a person? And I've always liked creating content in a certain way. I like, obviously, doing videos, being the guy that like dances and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's these combinations of fitness, fashion and fulfillment that really makes me who I am. And I thought about it in a way as like, why not just get paid for who you are? And this is who I am. So rather than having to go to work to make money, be myself and get paid for being myself.
That's like the most amazing way for something like THATFIT media platform to come about. It's like every single thing that you're about, like from the fashion to the sport to the fitness to the the science of fitness, it's all ingrained deep within you. Like there's a lot of people out there that are just doing like personal training or something just for a job. And there's no real passion.
And that's what I mean. Like personal training, like I'd see it as a job rather than producing something that it's a passion, it's work, it's play, play for me.
So what do you think, changed, I guess, from that shy little boy that, would hide behind his mum at the restaurants? What was the idea behind making, I guess, putting your content out to other people and focusing on actually helping other people as well? Like, not just doing things for yourself. Where did that transition come from where, you were like, okay, no, I want to share what I know and what I'm doing with the world?
Yeah, so it's quite tough, but for me, it's...
Like, is there a kick, I guess, that you get out of, like, sort of watching people succeed and helping people along the way? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so the weirdest thing is I find so much gratitude in other people doing well. Yeah. Like it literally, it's just, there's something about it, seeing someone overcome the challenges, because you can relate to that, what that feels like. So, but for the most part, I think it's providing something that I sort of wanted as a kid.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're saying like, you would have loved, I guess, if someone like Ethan Brady made, this content here so that you could watch as a kid,
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So that's the main reason. And I just, now that I've helped, I guess, myself become better, because it starts with you, right? And the quote always sticks with me: if you want to change the world, change yourself. So this has only come about now because I've changed myself.
Yes.
So if I can see that change in myself, then I can see the change in others. And I truly believe in people can become the best that they can be. And I want to provide a platform that every day, there's something that they can come to on the platform to give them perspective of like, if they can do it, I can do it too. Yeah. So really seeing the best in people and the potential that they have, because the only thing that I fear in life is not becoming the person that you can truly become. And every day when you come to that fit platform, is that you have something to remind yourself of why you're doing this and why you go through the hard work, why you wake up every morning and have a morning routine to set you off on the path to better yourself every day. So that's what it's truly about. And it's obviously eventually it'll become a business and we will be bringing money through it, but it's only to create a better experience for anyone that comes onto the platform. And yeah, I feel grateful every day we're not even that big at the moment, but that doesn't bother me because I know it's going to affect a lot of people at some stage. And like I said to you, it's not about everyone. It's about that one person that may see this, because it's never going to be about the monetary goals or anything like that, but it's going to be the messages that people go, hey, like, because I've watched some of your stuff, or I saw this today, it's helped me with my depression, it's saved my life. Like, I was going to commit suicide until I saw something on your platform that gave me perspective to say, hey, everything's going to be okay and you can literally become whatever you want in life. So that's what's really going to fulfill me. And like I said, I want it to be an iconic brand, not because of the value of it, but the value that it gives to the people. So yeah,
I guess that's what's making us success, because at the moment it's right in saying that you haven't really tried to get the content out. You haven't sponsored anything. You haven't done anything like that. For this part here, it's more just about showing your passion. And showing
and building the foundations. I think it's important to really have the foundations to help you guys understand what it's going to be mainly about. And I'm quite calculated. I think a lot. I make sure everything is exactly how it's supposed to be, not in terms of perfection, but in the substance that it has. So I don't want to. It doesn't matter how fast this grows. It's as long as it's growing consistently. There's that thing I remember seeing a couple of weeks ago, and it was, I don't want to move fast. I want to move correctly, and I want to enjoy every moment of the way.
That's it.
I really, right here, right now, this is the most important moment. Whatever time does, I'm going to be right here, within myself, and do what truly means the most to me. And it's about being better, being healthy and happy. So,
well, it's good. And that's I guess, part of the reason why, I thought we should do something like this, is to show people that it's not just, to get, famous or whatever it is. It's a genuine passion, and it's a genuine thing that you want to actually help people.
Yeah.
You guys don't hear the conversations that we
Behind
go through on a,
And that's what I mean, bro. I do want to get as much behind the scenes as well, because I think that's just important. You see everything here, but behind the scenes, that's where it really happens, bro. So hopefully we can get to a point where we can have a sort of videographer or something and see really behind the scenes stuff that really makes us tick, that you guys will be like, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
All right, so last couple, but where do you see THATFIT Media in 3 years? What's the obviously we're not holding you to anything, but what would be the goal in 3 years as to where you see the platform? What are you
that's right. No one obviously holds me to anything. It's myself that holds myself to it. So in 3 years we'll have a studio. We'll have THATFIT Woman platform as well.
That's cool.
As well as THATFIT. They'll probably become podcasts. It'll be THATFIT Woman podcast and THATFIT Man podcast, where women get together, they talk about the struggles of being a woman in society and how we can help each other become better in society. So a studio, there'll be, hopefully, who knows how many collections of clothing will be out by then, but we'll have one sometime this year, so stay tuned for that. I'm working on those pieces. I really want to make it very personal as well. I always think of when a brand first starts, they get the first pieces. I want it to be one of one original, so in 3 to 5 to 10 years, they can look back and be like, I bought one of the first pieces from THATFIT, and no matter how much, what we're valued at is that they get to look back and be like, they believed in us, and it's you guys believing in me and Segal and whoever comes on the platform to grow this, but it's you guys that make it really work. So I really want to make special pieces for anyone that will buy the first collection or the many pieces of the collection. I might just drop them piece by piece, but who knows? It's just whatever I vibe with at the moment. But it'll be a business, bro. Studio. It'll probably be something where we have hopefully 1 or 2 podcast studios, maybe one. But I can see it, and it's funny, bro. I was talking to a lady yesterday in Burleigh, and she's like, "Hey, we've got offices in Burleigh. Just whenever you want to come through and have a look." So everything happens how it needs to, bro. So the most thing that I'll probably be worried about the most and stressed is the business side of things. I don't know business for a bar of soap, so if anyone's out there and willing to give a hand, I'm learning it from podcasts and stuff right now and understanding how people have ran their businesses, but at the end of the day it's going to be how I decide to run it in a certain way. But that's something I'm super excited for, bro, is to learn that sort of thing. I've never learned that. All I know is hard work and creating an inspiring platform so you guys can become better. So that's where I see THATFIT in 3 years.
And I guess in an even longer term, what does happiness and say settling down look like for Ethan Brady?
Happiness and settling down.
At this point in your life.
At this point in my life.
And this is something I am going to hold you to, because in 10 years we're going to come back and just and we're going to see how exactly this panned out.
Yeah, well, settling down, I think my mindset for settling down, like, is settling down in its own thing is I'll never really settle down, if you know what I mean. But I guess settling down is what does the future look like with family. And to be honest, I don't really care too much about owning my own home. Like, I'm not really on that buzz right now. It may change, but settling down is probably, I guess, in its own sense, is probably having kids in the future. So that's probably the only thing. But apart from that, man, it's becoming the best person I can be. And happiness right now is becoming the person that I always wanted to be, and that is an everyday thing. And the first thing I wake up and when I'm meditating is just like, what do I have to do today to become the best person that I can? And that creates happiness for me, man. And it's nothing outside me, it's within me. And it's not until you realize that it has to come from you. It's never anything from outside you that is going to create happiness. And happiness isn't an event, it's how you experience things. So it's never an event or a thing is not going to make you happy. It's your mindset around looking at that event and what it means to you that will create, moments of happiness. And at times you might think what I'm going through is painful, but nothing's more painful than, looking back and being like, having so many regrets because you didn't do the things that you wanted to. So
I think that's almost the perfect answer, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people have a plan or an inclination of what they would like their life to look like, and sometimes it can be a bit disappointing if it doesn't go that way. And sometimes, if another opportunity comes that could potentially be better, you're so stuck on your plan that you might not seize that opportunity. So I guess your way of, just sort of, obviously you want to have some little ones, which is great, but the rest of it is sort of, left to...
I'm gonna let the universe take care of that, man. I'm just going to be the best person that I need to be. And
because if you look at what's happened with you, like, you're just hearing this story and you guys will obviously hear it, but... everything that's happened in your life, it seems like it's all been for a reason, and it's all come together from who you were as a child, the absolute opposites that you are as an adult, and the similarities that you are as an adult, which, it's amazing to see. And, I'm lucky enough to actually to sit here and, for the last couple of years and watch the whole thing. That's
the shame, I guess. That's what I mean. I really want to get THATFIT to a place where we can really get behind the scenes, because fortunately for you, like, you get to experience this both on and off the content, as well, as that people probably won't really understand until THATFIT becomes bigger. But the shame is that right now is the most important of THATFIT, is the beginning. And I think we've only got like 10 subscribers and like 73 followers on THATFIT. But I'm going to look back on these moments and be like, man...
Look, every like music artist, every sportsman, everything, they all start really small, man. And it's like, you feel the people that are with us now, are going to feel so much more connected to us when we blow up.
So that's interesting about. I'm not going to go too much on about it, but the NFT space, is that for people that early on, I think NFTs, especially for THATFIT eventually, I think we can really give so much value back to the people who started with us. So you guys that are watching right now, we definitely appreciate you, and I think we can really create some cool pieces for you guys to really help this thing grow. But man, I'm excited, and I was talking to Lockie before. It's just like, I just wake up excited, and that's and that's to me successful. It's 100%. Like, I'm going to be successful now, and I'll be successful in 5-10 years as well. But the thing is, the measuring stick of success isn't going to change. It's like, am I excited to wake up? If I'm not excited to wake up, then I need to change it, because that's success. Am I excited to wake up? Am I excited to learn today? Am I excited to spend time with people that I love the most? So,
no, well, I mean, that's all we wanted to really touch on. That's exactly what we needed to hear. Just hear your story, and hopefully people can resonate a little bit more and know the idea as to what we're doing, So we've got obviously this platform, which is THATFIT. We've got Fuck It Up Fridays, which is a bit of fun. It's a bit of lifestyle. It's a bit of talking about just
relationships,
general relationships, questions that people want to talk about and things that are going on in society. And you've got your new show.
Yeah, Made by Mondays.
And, there's so many different things. We're going to start some vlogs.
Yeah.
We're going to get onto, just really building it up, like you said. But, man, that's a great story.